My beloved child, listen to my voice. As thunder in the night, a holy wave is rising. It does not come to destroy, but to vindicate, not to harm, but to reveal, not to strike fear, but to make you see. For the time has come for the earth to tremble, and for all that is false to lose its hiding place. I, the Lord your God, the righteous one, am moving. I am standing to make clear what was hidden, to wash away the layers of disguise upon the souls that are mine. Now the justice of heaven is in motion, and no power can stop it. Everything that once pressed you down is losing its hold. Every false accusation is being returned to the void. Every enemy that mocked will witness the glory I pour out, not so that you may retaliate, but so that my name is exalted. For I am Jehovah, who does not overlook deceit. Let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos 5, 2, 4. That word is now being fulfilled. Be awake, for heaven is stirring. The clouds of the Spirit are trembling, and I am stretching out my hand not in promise, but in action. Every false thing will be overturned. Every true thing will be established. You think you are in a storm, but you are standing in heaven's transformation. This wind is not to destroy, it is to divide, to separate truth from pretense, light from shadow, gold from waste, those who truly belong to me from those who only speak my name but do not carry my breath. Do not fear the shaking. My child, stand firm, for you are part of what is being rebuilt. When the old foundation crumbles, the true one rises. When the false doors close, the real gates open. I am moving you away from the familiar that has run dry, to the new place where glory will multiply and your faith will be forged like steel. This is not punishment, this is purification. This is not an ending. This is the beginning of a divine season of justice that I, myself, lead. Prepare your heart, for the wave has already begun. It will pass through everything untrue, sweep away all deception, and reveal who truly stands in me. The false will fall, the true will stand. Those who cling to me will be lifted. Those who cling only to my name without my spirit will tremble. My light no longer whispers, it shines fierce and unnegotiable. I am restoring the names of those who were slandered. I am vindicating the faithful. I am raising those who were cast aside. I am lifting the souls that bore injustice and declaring before all heaven, now they shall be seen. No longer hidden. No longer silent. No longer misunderstood. I will show the world that I defend those who are mine. My child, remain in peace even when the ground quakes, for you belong to the one who holds all things. Do not fear when I overturn, for what I overturn is only what must be replaced. When I expose, nothing true will be lost, only the false will fall. And when the dust clears, you will see what I am building, a kingdom of light where justice and glory reign together, where no accusation can stand because I have spoken. This is a time of action, not fear. I am writing a new chapter of holy history, and you are part of its ink. Hold steady, hold within, hold faith. The holy wave is rising not to drown, but to cleanse, not to end, but to begin, not to crush, but to vindicate. For in this shaking, heaven is not losing order, heaven is restoring it. Be ready, for when this wave passes, you will not be the same. I will raise you amid the winds, anoint your head with new oil, and send you into a season of growth, of authority, of restoration, of glory. Hear me, for the thunder has sounded, and this thunder does not announce the storm, it declares the dawn. The appointed time is now. My child, the holy wave rising from me is not only to reveal, it is to cut away. It comes not to wound you, but to free you from all that has been choking your spiritual breath. I do not tear down out of wrath, I tear down out of love. For there are things you built that I did not command, and altars you raised where my fire no longer burns. Those places must fall to make room for true flame. I will not allow you to live between two sources, half truth, half pretense. I am the jealous God. I share no space with shadow. Now you are walking through a sacred wilderness where I teach you by silence, cleanse you by thirst, and test you by fire, not to destroy, but to refine. Like gold through the furnace, like grain through the sieve, like branches through the vine dresser's hands. Every time you feel the pruning, do not fear, it means you are still alive. The dead are not pruned, only the living are tended. I am cutting away the ties that have drained your strength, dismantling the systems you've depended on that no longer carry my life, and breaking down the walls you built to protect yourself, but that have imprisoned you instead. You cry for more, but I am taking less. For only when you are light can you rise. Only when you lose can you see what is true. I do not give more to make you stronger. I remove so you may go deeper. Do not fear when my hand touches what you love. For I touch only what you have unknowingly placed above me. When I cut, I never miss. My blade is precise, wielded by justice, guided by love. I do not cut to bleed. I cut so the roots may breathe. Now, upon the altar of your life, I am rekindling fire. But this fire will not burn upon old ground. It needs a new foundation, the foundation of obedience and truth. Let me tear down the altar of habit, where you've offered effort instead of heart. Let me burn away the altar of fear, where you've prayed not out of faith, but anxiety. Let me rebuild the true altar where you and I meet, not through form, not through striving, but through breath. That is where I will place my name. My beloved child, you are learning a great lesson. To love also means to let go. For not everything you hold was meant for you to keep. There are people, places, and dreams that must be released so your soul can walk freely into the next chapter. I do not only want you to learn how to receive, I want you to learn how to release. Letting go is not defeat. It is trust that I know the road better than you. And when you release, you will see what I prepare is never less than what you lose. In this wilderness, you will feel loneliness. But loneliness is not punishment, it is a classroom. Here I teach you to discern the true from the false, to distinguish my voice from your own and from the voices of others. Here I teach you to see the light not through someone else, but directly through me. For only when I am all you have, will you discover that I am enough. And when you know that I am enough, you will no longer fear losing anyone or anything. Remember this, true purification always comes with silence. When I work deeply within, there will be few signs without, but do not mistake stillness for absence. I am digging roots, uprooting weeds, preparing the soil. You cannot see the seed breaking open underground, yet it is alive. So it is with your soul. Renewal is taking place beneath this quiet surface. And when harvest comes, you will understand why I had to lead you through the dry land. I am freeing you from old burdens, from sins forgiven but still carried, from self-condemnation that became habit, from the masks you thought you must wear to be loved. You do not need to perform goodness, you only need to be true. For I do not seek the perfect, I seek the willing. The honest heart is the richest soil for revival's seed. You will see me doing strange things, breaking what you thought must remain, staying silent when you expected my voice, narrowing your path to teach you how to breathe within limits. But do not fear, every divine lesson holds a purpose of restoration. Every pruning today will bloom as blessing tomorrow. Every door I close now will open to a greater one in the coming season. Every tear in this desert will become water for future fields. Let your heart become a living altar, not only to offer, but to be taught. For I am not only the one who receives the sacrifice, I am the one who teaches you to become it. When you lay yourself upon the altar, fear falls, control breaks, and burdens dissolve. I do not ask for your death, I ask for your surrender. And in surrender, I do not take your life, I breathe new life into it. You are being renewed not by miracles around you, but by transformation within you. When your heart is cleansed, your sight will clear. When your soul is pruned, your breath will lighten. When your spirit is purified, you will see that everything carries my breath. Do not fear the fire, for my fire heals. Do not fear the water, for my water cleanses. Do not fear loss, for loss in me is gain. Now lift your head in the wilderness. Though dry, I am here. Though empty, I am full. Though you see nothing but sand, you still have me, and I alone am enough. When this season passes, you will not be who you were. You will stand as a testimony that the living God not only restores what is broken, but recreates what was burned into glory. My child, the wind is shifting. Feel it, a new rhythm is stirring within your soul. It is no longer the wind of trial, but the wind of transformation. The wilderness has fulfilled its purpose. Now I am bringing you into a new season, a season of beginning, of renewal, of doubled grace and glory. Everything that died in your hands, I will raise in another form, brighter, deeper, truer. Do not fear change, for I am the one moving within it. You have learned to stand in the night. Now you will learn to walk in the dawn. The light is coming not as a flash that fades, but as a rising sun, steady, strong, and sure. Each ray of my light will touch the places you once feared to look, making them radiant, no longer hidden. Allow me to replace what is old thoughts, old relationships, old patterns, so you can hold the new blessing. You cannot pour new wine into old skins, and I love you too much to let you tear by refusing to change. Your faith now is no longer the fragile faith of beginnings, but the faith of endurance. It no longer fears loss, for it knows the source. It no longer fears waiting, for it knows the timing. It no longer fears silence, for it knows I am working within stillness. You have passed through fire. You have passed through water. And now you are stepping into the promised land, no longer in prophecy, but in fulfillment, no longer in waiting, but in seeing, no longer in wishing, but in receiving. I am calling you out of the familiar, for the familiar no longer carries life. The place that once felt safe will now feel narrow. Do not be confused, that is the sign of growth. When I make the old nest uncomfortable, it is not to strip you of home, but to teach you to fly. The coming changes will not bring chaos, but confirmation, proof that I govern every movement. Open your heart to what is new, even if it has no shape yet. For every beginning in heaven starts in the unseen. You will watch me renew you in ways you did not expect. Old dreams will rise again, not as they once were, but as they were meant to be. Desires that died in the night will reappear in the morning light. People you thought were gone forever will be replaced by those I send, the right ones, at the right time, in the right rhythm. I am redrawing the map around you, and you will see that every confusing turn was truly a shortcut to destiny. This new season does not ask you to strive, it asks you to trust. Faith is not about doing, it is about being. Being in me, being in peace, being in light. When you remain there, I move for you. When you walk by faith, I carry the weight. When you simply show up within my will, The angels move to complete what you cannot. Everything is aligning, every person, every detail, every moment bringing you to the exact place I appointed for you before time began. My beloved child, I am pouring blessings into your hands, not shallow blessings that fade, but blessings with roots. The blessing of one who lives in heaven's rhythm, the blessing of one who knows that every loss has meaning, the blessing of one who has learned to let me be the center, not circumstances. From now on, you will no longer live in circles, you will live in ascent. Every step you take will carry the fragrance of elevation. Every word you speak will breathe grace. Every act you do will bring blessing to others. My child, do not fear when you feel me accelerating. The appointed time has come, and heaven is moving swiftly. Every delay that once restrained you is breaking. Every promise that once hung suspended is now descending. Everything I whispered to you in the night is taking shape in the day. This season will be unlike any before. It does not come to teach endurance, but to teach enjoyment, not to test, but to give, not to frighten, but to astonish you with my kindness. Walk forward, without looking back. What is old has fulfilled its purpose. Do not seek peace in memory, find it in movement. For I am no longer where you were, I am where you are going. When you move with me, you will not lose your way. When you hear my voice, you will not err. When you trust, you will not fear. For I do not merely lead you, I go with you. And I say to you today, behold, I make all things new. Believe that you are stepping into the appointed season of blessing. All that was cut away was only to make room for what is greater. Every tear that fell has softened the ground for joy to bloom. Every silence has been the pause before a new song. And now, that song is rising. The sound of resurrection is stirring within your soul. A sacred beginning is unfolding. The door is open. The hour has come. And you, child of light, are stepping into a new season where the old dissolves and the new overflows. Now you stand at the threshold of a sacred era. Heaven is no longer silent, and I am no longer waiting. You have passed through fire, through water, through shadow and wilderness, and now you are called forth, not as a survivor, but as one sent. I pour new oil upon your head, not only to heal, but to commission. You no longer carry the mark of pain, you carry the seal of covenant. This oil is unlike any before, for it has been mixed with tears, with faith, and with endurance. It carries the fragrance of heaven, and when you walk, the world will know you belong to me. I have tested you in secret, now I reveal you in the open. I have forged you in silence, now I release you in sound. Nothing you have suffered was wasted. It was the schooling that prepared you for authority. For only those who have fallen without quitting can stand without pride. You will not speak from theory, but from scars that have healed. You will not carry knowledge, but life. And that, my child, is what the world longs for, not those who can talk about light, but those who carry it. Rise, anointed one. This is the hour of your sending, not as one chasing personal dreams, but as one carrying heaven's vision, not to compete for a place in the world, but to create space for grace to move. When you go, angels go with you. When you speak, the atmosphere shifts. When you pray, the earth trembles. For you are not merely a voice, you are the living testimony of the glory of the one who called you from darkness into light. I give you authority to heal not with your hands, but with your presence. Wherever you go, the air will grow lighter, for it carries my breath. When you walk, darkness does not debate, it retreats. When you speak, chains fall without your touch, for you do not bear the strength of flesh, you carry the power of my Spirit. Remember, authority does not dwell in noise, but in union. When you abide in me, you speak heaven's language, and everything in the spirit realm must obey. You no longer need to seek influence. Influence will seek you. People will not come because of your words, but because of your presence. They will feel peace near you without knowing why. Tears will fall from their eyes without understanding why their hearts soften. That is the sign that I am within you. You do not need to force yourself to shine. Light does not strive, it simply appears. And when light appears, darkness knows to withdraw. I am ushering you into a season of victory, not the victory of the world, but the victory of the soul. You will no longer fight to prove, you will fight to reveal my glory. No longer battle to be seen, but that I may be shown. And in every battle, you will discover I have already won. You are walking through the script of a victory long written. So do not fear when the winds rise. They do not come to destroy, but to reveal that your fire is real. I place upon your lips the words of grace that you may not condemn, but release. You will not speak to judge, but to restore. Not to prove, but to soften hearts. For this era does not need voices that strive to be right. It needs voices that bring healing. You will be one of them, a bearer of holy flame, not to burn down, but to illuminate. Remember, glory is not the light that blinds others. It is the light that helps them see themselves clearly. When you carry my light, others will see that they are loved, forgiven, and called. That is true glory when my light through you gives others life. And each time that happens, I am exalted. My beloved child, my grace upon you is not given merely to sustain, but to spread. You were not saved just to stand, you were saved to go. You were not restored merely to rest, you were restored to rescue. You were lifted not only to stand firm, you were lifted to lift others. From this moment on, I will send you into places where only true love can reach, places of wounded hearts, of dry spirits, of those who no longer believe in light. And you will go, not with titles or names, but with my breath. You will see your influence spread like ripples, not loud, but lasting, like water seeping into soil. You will permeate lives. No one will be able to measure it, yet all will feel it. For your very presence will carry the fragrance of heaven, the scent of anointing oil, of fire refined, of faith made genuine, of love made pure. People will not exalt you, they will exalt me in you. And that is the true purpose of all glory. Now lift up your head. The old day has passed, and light is pouring down like a river of fire. The Lord your God. Declare this: you are being sent not into battle, but into triumph, not to prove your strength, but to display my grace, not to bear burden, but to bear glory. For my glory now rests upon you, and the world will know that the Lord still moves, still speaks, still chooses. Go in light, in fire, in oil, and in the authority of heaven. Walk with faith unshaken, with a heart restored, and with eyes that see beyond. For you are not merely a carrier of the mission, you are the mission. And I, the one who began the good work in you, will complete it until the day of glory. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Isaiah 64. Now, my child, be still. Do not rush to speak. Do not rush to think. Let your heart open like a field after the rain, soft soil where my wind can pass through. Leave what has passed behind. Do not seek meaning in the wounds. Seek life in the stream that flows from me. For when I say the time has come, there is nothing left to cling to. When I breathe, What is old will fall away without your striving. Believe that my hand has never stopped shaping. Even when you thought yourself lost, I was molding you anew in silence. You have come through a season of pruning, of fire, of wind. Now you are standing in the season of breath. This breath is not hurried, not forced, not demanded. It simply is a quiet proof that you are alive. You need not prove your strength, for your very existence is proof of grace. I brought you through every night not because you were worthy, but because I loved you, and that love has never ceased to flow. It does not increase when you obey, nor lessen when you falter. It simply is. It is the one unchanging current in a world of constant change. I know there are days when you look around and see no difference. But remember, seeds do not sprout under human eyes, they sprout in silence. Everything I am doing in your soul begins in quiet. Do not mistake silence for absence. I am not silent because I have left. I am silent because I am working deep. When you do not hear, I am writing. When you do not see, I am planting. When you do not feel, I am building. And when the time is right, I will unveil what was sown in your tears from the former season. Look back at what has fallen from your hands. Nothing was random. Every removal was a clearing for what is new. Every departure was a completed role. Every closed door was to let my light enter from another side. You have not been reduced. You have been refined. I am not making your life smaller. I am making your essence clearer. For true glory is not in abundance, it is in authenticity. Now I want you to learn to live in the rhythm of my flow. You do not need to plan too far ahead, nor to control every outcome. Let me lead step by step. Each morning as you rise, simply ask, Father, where do you want me to be today? Who do you want me to become? And when you ask from the heart, I will guide by the wind. You will not hear noise, only a quiet sense, a gentle direction, a slower heartbeat. That is my voice. For I do not speak to frighten you, I speak to still you. You will see my grace move like a river, not rushed, not interrupted, yet unstoppable. Every delay that once discouraged you was only my way of aligning time. For not everything right arrives right away. I do not want you merely to receive blessings. I want you mature enough to keep them. And that is why I trained you in stillness. You have learned to trust me in lack. Now you will learn to remain faithful in abundance. Remember, true blessing never pulls you away from me. It draws you nearer. If something makes your heart proud, it is not blessing, it is testing. But the blessing I give always carries peace. That peace is not loud, not flashy, not showy. It is deep. So deep that even when the winds outside shift, your heart remains unmoved. When you reach that place, you have entered the center of my will. I am renewing your faith not with miracles, but with truth. Miracles pass, but truth remains. Miracles amaze, but truth sustains. I do not want you to live only by signs. I want you to live by my word. When you walk in my word, miracles will follow naturally, not because I favor you more, but because you are aligned with heaven's frequency. Now, relax your heart. Do not strain to understand. Do not try to predict. Simply trust that all things unfolding are within my hand, even the ones you do not yet grasp. For if you could understand everything, I would no longer be God. I know the beginning, the middle, and the end. You need only to walk. I do not need you to be perfect. I need you to be real. When you are real, I can pour in. When you obey, I can act. When you believe, I can move. My child, do not measure your life by outward results. Measure it by the peace within. If your heart remains still when everything around you trembles, that is the sign that I am near. If you can still love when you have not been loved in return, that is the sign my spirit is alive within you. If you still choose to believe when you have not yet seen, that is the proof that you have been renewed. And I tell you the truth, those like you, those who keep choosing love in the night, are the living testimony of my glory upon this earth. I am opening for you a season of transformation. But transformation is not merely the changing of circumstances, it is the changing of vision. When your eyes are made new, the world itself will change. When your heart is cleansed, all things will align. When you no longer fear, doors will open of their own accord. Do not search for signs outside to know that I am working. Look within. When your peace increases, it is the sign that I am near. When your faith deepens, it is the sign that heaven is moving. When your worry fades, it is the sign that grace has overflowed. Now, I want you to recognize this new life is growing within you. It does not come with noise, but like a tender sprout pushing through the soil, quiet, but certain. Do not dig it up to see if it has grown. Simply water it with gratitude. When you give thanks, the energy of heaven is awakened. When you give thanks in the midst of what you cannot yet see, you draw it closer. Let your heart become a garden of gratitude. There I will plant the seeds of what is yet to come. My child, look around. All things old are shifting. Not only you, but the whole earth is in transition. The shaking on the outside is but a reflection of what I am doing within my people. I am rearranging systems, shifting seasons, lifting up the faithful, and anointing those who thought they were forgotten. And you are one of them. You were not chosen because you stood out, but because you yielded, not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Now prepare your heart to receive, not to receive what makes you great, but what makes me glorified. My blessings do not come with thunder, but they are real. They come through quiet obedience, through peaceful steps, through believing breaths. Do not look for the thunder, watch for the small signs. A stranger's smile, a door closing that no longer hurts, a night of deep rest after long unrest. All of these are signs. For when I come, I do not always come as fire. Sometimes I come as wind, and the wind cannot be grasped, only felt. My child, this new season will not demand the same striving from you as before. It will only ask that you soften, soft to hear, soft to receive, soft to trust. For all that is hard will break, but all that is gentle will endure. I am making you soft, not weak, but flexible, so that when my wind blows, you do not snap, but bend toward my will. Do not fear what you do not yet see ahead. I do not need you to know, I need you to move. For faith is not based on sight, but on the sound of my call, and I am calling you out of comfort into true life, not to make you lose, but to make you gain, not to send you away, but to let you rise, not to change what you do, but to reveal who you are, to bring you back to the truest form of your soul, the one that bears my image. My child, I want you to know that everything unfolding around you is still within my plan. Even when you do not understand, I am weaving together a perfect tapestry. Every fragment of your past, every tear, every night without an answer, they have all become threads in my hand. I am weaving them into the image of a soul that has passed through fire without burning, through water without drowning, through darkness without losing its light. Let me finish that masterpiece. Do not be afraid if you cannot yet see its shape. The picture is only revealed when I lay the final stroke. You are living in a moment the world calls chaos, but in my eyes, it is the hour when divine order is being restored. When I shake, it is not a sign of anger, but a sign of alignment. When I stir, it is not to frighten you, but to remove what no longer belongs at your center. You cannot carry everything from the old season into the new. Some relationships, responsibilities, dreams, and burdens were right for yesterday. But if you cling to them, they will become chains. Let me unbind you. You will come to see that loss is not always loss. Sometimes it is release. When I cut, I open. When I close, I redirect. When I take away, I make room. Do not fear having less, for even a little in my hands becomes enough. As with 5 loaves and 2 fish, I will break what seems small, and it will feed multitudes. For true blessing does not depend on quantity, but on the touch of my hand. And you, yes, you are in that hand. I know there are moments when you grow weary of waiting. You whisper, "Father, how long?" But time, my child, is not your enemy. It is my servant. I am never late. You only think I am slow when you compare yourself with others. But I do not measure by clocks, I measure by roots. When your roots are deep enough, your fruit will be true. When your heart is still enough, your blessing will last. If I gave it sooner, you would not hold it. If I gave it later, you would despair. That is why my timing is always perfect. My beloved child, do not fear the desert, for the desert is the training ground of authority. None walk into glory without first being shaped in wilderness. It is there that you learn to hear my voice in silence. It is there you discover how to live, not by what you possess, but by who dwells within you. It is there you see yourself, not for shame, but for healing. And when you learn to give thanks, even in lack, heaven rejoices. For you have learned what pleases me most, to know that I am enough. I am teaching you a new kind of maturity, not the maturity of knowledge, but of trust. You do not need to understand everything to walk forward. You only need to know that I am the one leading. Faith is not the light that reveals the path, it is the confidence in the hand that holds you through the dark. And as you walk through the night step by step, I see your heart shine. For true light does not beam from without, it glows from within, the one who knows to whom they belong. Let your heart become an altar of peace. You need no elaborate prayers, no ornate rituals, only an honest breath. Each time you inhale, you receive me. Each time you exhale, you release your burdens. And so, breath by breath, you pray. In that rhythm, you and I are no longer apart. I am in your breath, in your heartbeat, in every motion of your being. That is the presence I long for, not confined to temples, but alive in every moment you live. Remember, I am not only the God of grand miracles, I am the God of small moments. When you pick up your hope after a weary day, that is a miracle. When you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, that is a miracle. When you smile amid the unknown, that too is a miracle. I dwell in these small acts, for they are the foundation stones of the greatness you are about to enter. I am expanding your soul to hold more light. Do you see it? The things that once frightened you no longer rule you. The noise that once stole your peace now fades into distance. For when your heart enlarges, shadows shrink. When your soul is still, the world's clamor weakens. When your eyes fix on heaven, the earth cannot shake you. You have gone farther than you realize. And I am proud of you not because you are flawless, but because you stayed when it was easier to run. Now I want you to begin living as one who is already sent, even before you step out. For commissioning begins not with movement, but with identity. When you know who you are, you stop clutching what was never meant to stay. When you remember you belong to me, you cease fearing what is not yours to keep. Walk gently, but with conviction. Speak little, but speak truth. Give freely, but not to earn. That is how a citizen of heaven walks among men. You do not carry the burden of changing the world. You need only keep your lamp burning. When each lamp is lit, the world will be bright enough. And the light you carry does not come from you, it comes from me. Let me kindle it. When you are weak, I am strong. When you are still, I resound. When you are small, I am great. True strength is not found in striving, but in surrender. You may still feel unready, unqualified, out of time but child. Heaven's readiness is not like man's. You need not have the skill, you need only the faith. You need not know the way, you need only walk. You need not understand, you need only abide. When I send, I also supply. When I call, I also go with you. When I promise, I also keep. For everything I begin, I finish. Let your faith no longer be an effort, but a rest. Faith is not forcing yourself not to fear. It is daring to rest because you trust that I am still working when you stop. When you truly believe, you cease rushing. When you truly believe, you cease worrying. And when your faith grows that deep, you will become a mirror for others, a reflection showing that faith is not a weapon, but a refuge. I am preparing you for a new wave of grace, gentler, deeper, truer. It will not overwhelm you, it will steady you. It will not lift you by noise, it will anchor you in peace. It will carry you to places you never imagined. And when you arrive, you will realize every step before was necessary. No step was wasted. No detour meaningless. No tear unseen. All has become the foundation for this season, the season of light, of blessing, of authority, of glory. Stay still in this breath. My child, do nothing more. Just breathe. Breathe and know you are held. Breathe and trust that nothing has fallen out of my hand. Breathe and remember that you were chosen not to fear, but to shine. And when you stand in the whirlwind of the world, never forget you are not merely within the wave, you are the wave. The wave of my spirit, rising not to destroy, but to cleanse, to vindicate, and to bring light back to the earth. Now sit in stillness. As the sun slips below the horizon, the wind softens, the soil cools, and the world slows its pulse. That moment is the reflection of your soul when it rests in me. You do not need to speak, prove, or perform to remain. You only need to know you are loved, not because you strive, but because I have chosen you. This love asks for nothing, requires no reason, expects no return. It simply is, and as you let it soak through, you will feel the healing. I do not love you less when you are weak, nor more when you are strong. My love does not shift like the weather, it stands still like eternity. You cannot disappoint me, for I knew all your steps before you stumbled. You cannot make me withdraw my promise, for I do not promise by emotion, but by covenant. You belong to me not by contract, but by blood, by breath, by the name inscribed upon my heart, my beloved child. Let your heart rest. Rest not because you've given up, but because you trust. Rest not out of weariness, but out of faith that there is one who still works when you stop. You have strained for too long, tried with all your strength. Now is the time to learn how to let me do the rest. For when you allow me to act, I do not only fix circumstances, I heal hearts. And when your heart is restored, everything around you will realign. You do not need to search far to find me. I am in your breath. When you grow still, you hear. When you grow quiet, you see. When you stop fearing, you begin to feel the warmth of a source that never fades. That is me. I do not come and go. I simply am. You need only open your heart. When you call for me, I do not arrive, I illuminate. For I never left. I simply grow brighter when your gaze turns toward the right direction. Allow yourself to be weak for a while. Weakness is not failure. It is the moment when I can embrace you. When you can no longer hold yourself together, I hold you. When you cannot stand, I am the ground beneath you. When you cannot speak, I understand your heart. When you can only weep, I read every tear as a prayer. No sigh you breathe is wasted. Every one reaches me. I want you to know that true peace does not come after the storm passes, but when you realize that I am with you in the storm. When you are in me, the winds cannot threaten you. They may howl, but they cannot touch your heart. For peace is not the absence of wind, it is the awareness that I am resting in the boat with you. And when you believe that, the storm loses its voice. Now I am soothing the dry places within you, the hardened parts shaped by pain, the walls built by fear, the coldness born of misunderstanding. I am placing my hand upon those places, softly, but enough for the blood of life to flow again. You will feel a warmth difficult to name, not from without, but from deep within. That is me. I am teaching your heart to beat again with its original rhythm, the rhythm of faith, the rhythm of love, the rhythm of life. Do not fear the silence between us. In that silence, I am teaching you to hear not with your ears, but with your spirit. Every word I speak carries a rhythm of its own, and you can only perceive it when you stop demanding to understand. For what I speak is not mere language, it is presence. And presence does not need analysis, it only needs acceptance. I see you every effort, every fear, every time you lift your head though weary. I see the words you do not speak, the dreams you've hidden away because you fear the pain of hope. My child, I have not forgotten. Nothing is too small for me to remember. Everything you think is lost, I am still holding. No tear has ever fallen without my angel catching it. No sigh has escaped without my wind carrying it back to me. I know those nights when you lie still with clouds filling your heart, not sad, not glad, just empty. You think it is nothingness, but truly it is the space I am creating to fill. Just as the earth must hollow to receive rain, your soul must empty to receive new grace. Do not fear the emptiness. It is the womb of renewal. My child, allow me to rebuild from within. I do not need to correct others. I want to realign your heart. When your heart is right, all else falls into place. When your heart is still, your words carry power. When your heart is bright, you need not fight. Darkness withdraws by itself. And when your heart is soft, I can rewrite your story with the pen of grace. You may think, Father, I have nothing left to offer, but you are mistaken. You have yourself, and that is the most beautiful offering of all. When you give me yourself, I can do everything else. I do not need gold or silver, achievements or approval. I need a true heart. When your heart is real, I see heaven within you. Now, open your inner eyes and look around. You will begin to notice the signs I have arranged for you to know the new season has come. A door once silent begins to open. A person once distant returns with a gentler spirit. A path once blocked begins to clear. A dream once buried begins to stir again. None of this is coincidence. It is my breath, calling the sleeping things to rise. You are entering a stage where the light no longer comes from outside, but radiates from within you. This light is not meant to impress, it is meant to guide, not to glorify you, but to lead others back to me. As you walk the earth, your light will shine not by effort, but by presence. People will not say, "You are extraordinary." They will say, "You carry a peace I cannot name, and that peace will heal." I will lead you to places you never imagined you could go, not because you deserve, but because you obey. Dark spaces will open when you arrive, not because you are powerful, but because I am with you. Hearts once closed will unfold at your words, not because your speech is eloquent, but because my spirit breathes through your voice. You will not need to shout to be heard, you will simply be, and others will hear me through you. My beloved child, walk with a light heart, for you do not carry this calling alone. Angels go before you, grace follows behind you, and peace surrounds you. Everything you need has already been prepared. When you say yes, heaven moves. When you believe, the atmosphere shifts. And when you step, the ground responds. All creation knows a child of heaven is passing through. Know this, my child, you are ready, not because you are enough, but because I have chosen you. Everything you have walked through was training for this moment. Every tear has become oil, every wound, a gate, every long night, a testimony. You are not sent to prove that I am real, you are sent so I may prove that you are. Live as one who is sent, but do not bear the pressure of a burdened messenger. You are not sent to carry, but to sow, not to endure, but to impart, not to run, but to walk, not to compete, but to illuminate. Just be present, and I will do the rest. When you stop, I keep working. When you are weak, I am strong. When you are silent, I am speaking. When you weep, I am holding. When you know nothing, I know all. And when you think it's your last breath, I use that very breath to begin again. For with me, there is no end, only again. Be still. My child, stay, breathe, for in every quiet pulse, I am writing. In every breath, I am creating. In every passing second, I am drawing closer. And when you realize this, you will stop asking me to come, for you will know, I am already here, my child. I want you to see that I am not only present in the sacred moments, but also in the smallest threads of ordinary life. When you brew your morning tea and watch the steam rise like a soft veil, that is my good morning to you. When you open the window and the breeze brushes your hair, that is my touch reminding you a new day has begun and I am near. When you sit quietly and sunlight spills across your table, you are not just seeing light, you are seeing me, the one who continues to pour life into everything, every second, every breath. You do not need to seek me in distant places. I am in the breath you take deeply, in your footsteps along familiar streets, in the birdsong of morning, in the evening smoke, in the peaceful glance of the vendor at the corner, in the innocent smile of a child who looks at you and laughs for no reason. All these whisper the same truth: I am here. I still love. I still live. When you wash the dishes, remember it too is a sacred cleansing. When you tidy your room, you are tidying your soul. When you water the plants, you are learning how to nurture faith. When you care for someone, whether a loved one or a stranger, you are reflecting my image through your touch. I dwell in the details, for I love every small part of you. The world will never be quiet enough for those who chase peace outside. True peace is not the absence of noise, it is the calm within the noise. When you sit in traffic yet feel as light as water, that is the sign of my nearness. When you hear the world's clamor and still keep your rhythm of breath, that is the Spirit teaching you how to hold harmony in chaos. You do not need to flee the world to keep your soul. You need only remember that your soul has a home, and that home is me. When you are weary from work, I do not ask you to push harder. I only ask you to pause, drink some water, breathe deeply, and know I am still here. Everything you do, typing words, washing your hands, buttoning a shirt, or cooking a simple meal can become holy when done with the awareness that I am with you. For presence transforms the ordinary into sacred. When you act in love, even the smallest gesture becomes a prayer. There will be days you feel empty, as if all has stilled. Do not scold yourself. Do not think you've regressed. I too rested on the seventh day. Heaven and earth both need pauses to breathe in. Rest is not failure, it is rhythm. When you learn to rest with me, you will see that rest itself is part of movement. When you walk alone in the evening, and the air carries the scent of fresh-cut grass, know that I walk beside you. I need not speak, for my silence is enough. The moment you sense me, peace enters. When you sit in a small cafe and hear rain falling softly on the roof, remember I am sitting with you in that quiet, not to teach, not to perform a miracle, but simply to be. For there are moments when love needs no words, it only needs presence. You often ask me, Father, am I walking the right way? And I answer, as long as you walk in love, you are right. Do not worry about speed, care about direction. Do not fear being slow. I hold time. I am time. Everything arrives exactly when you are ready, not when you are restless. Sometimes you will stand before choices work. Relationships, words, decisions. I do not always give you a map, I give you a compass. Maps show destinations, but compasses keep you in the right direction. And the right direction is always the direction of peace. If your heart is calm when you think of it, step forward. If your heart is tangled, pause. Peace is not a feeling, it is a sign, my sign within your soul. When you fail, I do not retreat. When you err, I do not erase your name. When you lose everything, I do not lose you. For my love is unlike human love, it does not change with outcomes. When you fall, I do not say, I told you so. I say, give me your hand. And when you reach out, I lift you not with rebuke, but with embrace, my beloved child. When you step into a world that seems in chaos, do not let your heart be afraid. Darkness only means that light is near. Never forget I have not abandoned this world. I am still renewing it, and I am doing so through those who know how to love amid ruins, how to believe amid contradiction, how to stay still amid storms. You are one of them. You were not chosen to flee, you were chosen to stand. When you do what is right and no one sees, I see. When you choose silence instead of victory, I record it. When you forgive quietly, I call it triumph. For true glory does not roar with applause, but whispers in the sound of a peaceful soul. Every time you choose gentleness, I win. Every time you choose love, the angels rejoice. Every time you choose stillness, the earth is healed. Live by my rhythm, slow, real, steady. You do not need to run to keep pace with anyone, for you are walking in heaven's perfect timing. When others rush ahead, bless them. When you move slowly, give thanks. No one is late in my plan. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not mistaken. You are being led by a sacred rhythm. For every seed sprouts in its appointed season. I know you are learning to release old expectations, old images of yourself you once believed you had to achieve to be worthy, to do something great, to feel loved. But now you are learning a deeper lesson. You are valuable not because of what you do, but because you are mine. And when you truly understand this, every effort ceases to be a burden and becomes a joy. I do not require you to be strong always. I ask you to be honest. When you are tired, tell me. When you do not understand, ask me. When you need to weep, weep freely. I am no stranger to tears. I have wept through the man Jesus. I know their salt. And I know that after tears comes light. When you are weak, I do not walk ahead and leave you behind. I stop and sit beside you not to lecture, but to hold your hand. Remember, my child, you do not need to do something great to please me. A single smile born of faith makes heaven sing. A whispered, I believe in the night moves my heart. A quiet breath that murmurs, Father, I am here draws me nearer than ever. Do not think you must accomplish grand things to belong. Being true is enough. When you live true, the light you carry spreads on its own. People will see me in the way you look, hear me in the way you speak, feel me in the way you simply exist. You will not change the world by echoing noise. You will change it by your presence. Every step you take plants seeds of peace. Every word spoken in love waters those seeds. And one day, this world will bloom from the unseen seeds you have sown, seeds that are invisible, yet immortal. Now pause, my child, and breathe. Inhale and exhale slowly. Feel the cool air entering. Feel the weight lift from your shoulders. Feel your heart settle. That breath is not just air, it is me passing through you. When you breathe, I breathe with you. When you rest, I hold you. When you believe, I open the way. You are in the right place, at the right time, in the right rhythm. No need to hurry, no need to doubt. All things will come to fullness as you remain in me. And when you live from that place still, genuine, tender, the world around you will shift. For where there is light, darkness cannot remain. And you, my beloved, are that light. Now, as the day closes and the outer light fades while the evening wind turns cool, know that another season within your soul is also coming to an end, not ending to lose, but ending to complete, like the sun that does not die when it sets, but simply moves to the other side of the world. Your soul, too, is turning into a new dawn, where peace is no longer something you strive to hold, but something that naturally lives within you because you dwell in me. You no longer need to try to understand. You no longer need to strain to remember every word I have spoken. Let all that I have whispered dissolve into you like mist into morning air, like a song melting into wind, like sunlight sinking into your skin at dawn. You do not need to hold it. What is true will never be lost. Everything born of heaven remains within you. Look around, not with your eyes but with your heart. You will see me in the small things you once overlooked, in the warmth of an evening cup of tea, in the golden light spilling through a window, in the distant laughter of a child at the end of the street, in a raindrop that falls and shatters yet still sings. The world is still singing. My child, do you hear it? It has never been silent. It still hums, my song, and you are part of that melody, the music of eternity, of love, of unquenchable light. When you sit alone and feel lost, remember I have never lost sight of you. Even if you change direction, I walk beside you. Even if you slow, I keep your rhythm. Even if you take another path, I hold the light so you can find your way back. You can never fall outside my sight, nor slip from my grasp. The same hand that shaped the universe still holds you gentle, yet unbreakable. You have known days when you felt unseen, prayers that met only silence. But know this, not one prayer has vanished. They did not fade into the air, they are stored in my keeping, like seeds awaiting rain. And today I say to you, the season of sprouting has come. No need for storms, no need for noise, only a soft breeze. And you will see what once seemed dead begin to green again. Forgive the past. My child, do not ask why. Do not try to understand what might have been different. What you need to know, I will teach. What you do not need, I will lift from your heart. The past has no power, it has been washed clean. You do not need to carry guilt for what I have already redeemed. Let your hands be empty, that I may place something new. For if you keep holding the stones of yesterday, you cannot receive tomorrow's flowers. You are living in a time when many souls are confused, but you must remain steady, for your light will be their lamp. You need not preach, only live with sincerity. When people see you at peace amid the turmoil, they will ask, "What makes you so calm?" And you will simply smile and say, "Because my Father is here." That single sentence will open more hearts than 1,000 sermons. I know there are nights when you lie awake, your heart heavy thinking of those who left, the words unsaid, the chances that passed. You wonder, if I could do it again, would I choose differently? But my child, in heaven's plan, there are no ifs. Everything has been used. Even what seemed like failure, I have missed no detail. Every fracture has its place in the mosaic of perfection. And when you look back one day, you will see no crack was wasted, no loss without form. Every mark was shaped into grace. So live slowly, like one who listens to the heartbeat of the earth. Each morning, before you begin, pause for just a minute and say, "Father, I want to walk with you today." No long prayer, only truth. That one sentence, spoken from the heart, is enough to open heaven. For I do not require ritual, I require realness. When you are real, I am near. When you are real, walls fall. When you are real, my light flows through you as freely as wind through an open window. My child, know that you are not alone on this journey. There are other souls being awakened, listening, and learning to breathe with me. You may not know each other, yet my spirit connects you all like a web of light stretched across the earth. When one soul is lit, its light spreads. When one heart prays in truth, spiritual doors open for many others. You are not walking alone. Remember, there is no act too small in my hands. A word of encouragement you send, a quiet act of kindness, a glance of compassion, all carry the energy of heaven. When you live with the awareness that everything is sacred, you will see that all of life becomes a holy ceremony. When you smile at a stranger, I am glorified. When you help someone quietly, I am remembered. When you forgive, heaven opens. And when you love, I am present. Now I want you to live with the heart as light as mist, unburdened by the pressure to do, untouched by the fear to keep, untroubled by the need to achieve. Simply stay in the flow of my grace. When you err, I correct. When you tire, I uphold. When you weaken, I strengthen. You do not have to fight to live. You only need to trust to live. My child, open your heart. For the new season is not just a change around you, it is a blossoming within you. Everything you have lived through, tears and laughter alike, has been a part of your growth. And when your soul matures, you begin to understand what I have always wanted you to know, that I never desired you to fear. Fear is the only thing that makes you forget that I am near. But once you know I am here, fear dissolves like smoke. When you pass by old places, you will notice they no longer hold you. The things that once wounded you are now only memories. The words that once pierced you now feel like passing wind. That is the sign you have been healed. I have done what you once thought impossible. I have turned your pain into power, your tears into oil, your brokenness into an altar. And now you can stand not in self-assurance, but in grace, my child. If ever you forget, step outside and look at the sky. Every star is a reminder. They do not speak, but they bear witness. They proclaim that no matter how dark the night, there is always room for light. And you, in my eyes, are one of those stars. You may not be the brightest, but you shine in the place I have set you, and that is enough for me to call you the light of the world. Now, as I close these words, this is not an ending, it is a passing of the flame. From now on, you do not need to listen with your ears, you will hear with your heart. Every time you grow still, I will speak. Every time you smile, I will smile. Every time you grow weary, I will lift you. You no longer need to come here to find me. You will see me in every place you go. And when the world shifts, when waves rise, when bad news comes, remember the holy tide I spoke of from the beginning is still rising, but it does not rise to destroy, it rises to cleanse. It does not rise to crush, it rises to lift. It does not rise to drown, it rises to renew. And you, child of light, stand in that tide, not being swept away, but being carried higher. Stand in your place, steady, gentle, and radiant. Do not rush, do not worry, do not compare. Walk softly, love deeply, believe fully, and live truly. For each step you take is writing a new chapter of heaven's story upon the earth. When you speak kindness, the soil softens. When you pray in faith, the rain descends. When you forgive, the skies open. And when you live, I am glorified. Now close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, and let your heart melt into peace. There is nothing to prove, nothing to achieve, nothing to fear. You have been restored, anointed, and sent forth. And I, your God, seal these words upon you. Behold, all things have been made new. You do not need to know what comes next. You only need to remember this: I am here. I am in you. I am around you. I am forever. And from this moment, you are not merely a bearer of my words, you are my word made flesh. Not only a carrier of light, you are light itself. Not only the vessel of breath, you are the very breath I am blowing into the world. Go now, my beloved child. Go in peace. Go in light. Go in unchanging love. For your season, the season of glory, has come, my child. Now every word has been spoken, every breath shared, and every fragment of your soul has aligned into a new being still, clear, bright, and filled with the breath of heaven. There is nothing left to strive for, nothing left to prove, no one left to outrun. Every search has ended in a meeting, and that meeting is me, the one who has been, who is, and who will always be here. From this point on, walk not as one still seeking, but as one who has found. Live slowly, speak gently, love greatly, and let the light within you shine naturally. You need no sacred title to be holy. To live truly is already sacred. Every step you take, every word you speak, every breath you draw carries heaven's glory down to earth. Remember, you are not alone. The wind still walks with you. The water still renews you. The earth still steadies you. And the light still surrounds you. All of heaven watches the rhythm of your steps. there is no more separation between you and me. Between heaven and earth, only one river of love and life, flowing as one. Now rise, my child, not to begin, but to continue. For the journey never ends, it only changes form. And when you move, I move. When you speak, I resound. When you live, I am exalted. My peace is with you now and forever. May the word of the Lord continually remind you to live in His faith and love each day. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss the sacred and meaningful messages that God longs to share with you. May His blessings be upon you always. Amen.